in our last video, we kind of put together our Pac-Man. Now your Pac-Man is pretty active, even though he's kind of just working in one place, but he's a chomping. Yeah, so our next step, of course, is going to be making sure that, like, he's chomping with a purpose, right? So he has 5 pellets. We want him to get through all 5 of these. So let's kind of practice doing that. Like, literally, there's going to be a little bit of sleight of hand when we're animating, but that's one of the cool things about animating is like you can kind of make stuff happen. It's like magic. Yeah. So let's go ahead and work on that. I'm going to start off with the Pac-Man group. Yeah, so if you notice, we were doing Pac-Man top and Pac-Man bottom. We gave them all keyframes. Yeah. Now when you click on the Pac-Man group, yeah, this is your top and bottom together, but you notice that shouldn't have any keyframes. And the reason for that is because, like, individually these are moving around. Your Pac-Man group is kind of like a shopping cart. It is on its own. Yeah, so like, if you put a child in a shopping cart, your child's like bouncing around, like doing crazy stuff or whatever, that's fine, because like the Pac-Man group, which is the shopping cart, that's not moving, hopefully, right? Unless this is a really rowdy child. So we're going to kind of utilize that as like, to our advantage. Yeah, so if you notice, I have selected the Pac-Man group. I'm going to go to this first frame over here, and I'm going to hit the S key. Yeah, so I'm locking that in. Yeah, and once again, remember, Pac-Man top, Pac-Man bottom, yeah, will already have keyframes there. Pac-Man group, though, this is our first keyframe. Yeah, and remember, that's your big group. Okay, I'm going to switch to the front view, just because that's a little bit easier for us to work on here. Okay, and I'm going to use the opening and closing of the mouth as like my cues, as far as like, okay, how far the Pac-Man is going to move, right? So remember, the top and the bottom are like kind of rotating this entire time non-stop. Okay, either opening or closing. So if I were to move my cursor over here, okay, what I'll notice is, like, right, it reaches full opening at frame 12. So I'm going to jump to over there and hit the S key for the Pac-Man group. Yeah, this will be our second keyframe. Yeah. Now we're finally going to move it. I'm going to press the W key to get into the move tool. Okay, and we're going to make your placement of your Pac-Man a lot closer to the pellet, because like if the mouth is open, that's usually indicating, okay, it's about time to chomp. Yeah, so I'm gonna bring it over right about to this area right here, so we can still see the full pellet, but we can also notice, like, okay, Pac-Man is fully open at this point. Okay, when we move it over, your translate X will have changed. If you can go ahead and hit that S key over there. Yeah, so that'll kind of lock that in. Okay, and then now we have our mouth open. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to move your Pac-Man over so that it is moving past this pellet. Yeah, so we're moving past this pellet. We can kind of use the same rhythm. Yeah, so I'm going to jump to the 24th frame. Yeah, just to kind of move your back to where the Pac-Man's mouth is fully closed. We're then going to move your entirety of this group. Yeah, sorry, I should have done a S right there, so I'm gonna hit S for my keyframe. I'm gonna move this Pac-Man group, and I'm gonna kind of center it right over here. Yes, if you notice, I'm gonna center it right before it, like maybe about halfway between your 2 pellets. Yeah, so we have it halfway between our 2 pellets. Okay, and then hit the S key over there. All right, now we're gonna have our movement. Yeah, now, and so we got that. We got, okay, there's a pellet. Yum. Whoa. Right. Okay, so it's moving across. Okay, so movement of the Pac-Man on point. Okay, one issue you may notice, though, is that your pellet, okay, what is going on here? Okay, strange metabolism. Yeah. um yeah, that's pretty weird. Looks like he's almost like a ghost, and like the pellet's kind of moving through. Now, obviously, what we wanted is, as soon as it gets consumed, like when the Pac-Man passes by, that pellet should be gone, right? This doesn't make too much sense. This is odd. Yeah, it's either a bunny tail or poop. Yeah, weird. Okay, so let's kind of work with that. Okay, so remember this first pellet, It's called pellet 1. I'm going to go ahead and select that. Yeah, and I'm going to show you two different ways where we can kind of have this pellet look like it's getting consumed, because clearly right now it's not, right? Okay, so let's move along the timeline. Okay, and what I want you folks to notice is at what point does the pellet start sticking out the Pac-Man's, for lack of a better term, butt? Yeah, so when is the pellet sticking out of the butt? Okay, yours may be a little bit different depending on your spacing and depending on like how far you moved your Pac-Man forward, okay, or in the X direction. For mine, it looks like between 17, it's still in Pac-Man. At 18, it is out. Yeah, and 18 is like not a good point, yeah, for it to be out. Yeah, at this point, it should be gone. Okay, so keep that in mind. As soon as you see the pellet sticking out of the backside of the Pac-Man, what we're going to do is we're going to jump back one frame. Yeah, and remember your pellet is still selected. We're going to hit the S key. Yeah, and that'll lock it in. Your pellet will still be in place and all of that good stuff. Okay, then when we get to the 18th frame, here's one way of creating the effect of this pellet is getting consumed. Okay, what we can then do is hit the S key again. Yeah, so now we have a keyframe at 17. Yeah, pellet still exists. At 18, okay, we still can have the pellet exist, but we don't want to see it anymore. So I'm going to actually drop this downwards. Yes, I'm going to drop this out of sight. And then you'll notice my translate X has changed. I'm then going to hit the S key. Okay, and then all of a sudden, yeah, between 17 and 18, what's going to happen is the pellet will be in one position. As soon as we hit 18, because we changed the translate, the pellet disappears. Yeah, so now we have the look of consumed, right? So that has a much more comfortable looking effect than whatever was happening before. Yeah, with Pac-Man's word metabolism. All right, so everyone kind of got that, right? So we have that set up. Okay, so that's one way where we can kind of hide things. Now, of course, we're the magician. Okay, we know what happened over here. That's why we kind of have this plane. Yeah, not only because that's like it makes sense in a Pac-Man world, but also here's what happens to our pellet. Yeah, so if you want to take a look at it, yeah, you can kind of watch it play through. Yeah, 17, oh, there's that pellet, right? And then at 18, boom, it's gone. Yeah, but because there's such a jump between frames, yeah, it looks like the pellet just gets eaten. All right, so that works out pretty well for us. We're gonna repeat this process for the next one as well. So let's kind of jump back to our front view. Again, 24 was where we went to the center, right? So that is our last set of keyframes for your Pac-Man group. We're going to, again, use our pellet for our guide as far as like, okay, placement of your Pac-Man. So again, at 36, I believe, is when Pac-Man's mouth is fully open. Okay, we're then once again with the group selected, hit the S key, yeah, at 36. Okay, let's get it so that it looks like it is about to consume our pellet. Hit the S key, yeah, to lock that in. Okay, and then using the same rhythm, 12 frames later at 48, S key, we want this Pac-Man right in the center. So let's kind of drop that off right in the center over there. All right, and lock that in. So press the S key once again. All right, so same process, yeah. Once again, now this time we're gonna try a different method, okay? And you can kind of pick and choose which style you want to use, yeah. But again, here's your alternative method, yeah. So the last time we kind of had pellet one in translate Y at one location, and then the next frame we just had translate Y negative super low hidden behind the under the ground. Yeah, now this time we're going to use our visibility field. Yeah, so we're going to mess around with our visibility field here a little bit. So now we're getting pellet 2. Once again, the same thing as last time. Yeah, we're gonna look at your pellet and find out when it starts sticking out the butt. Okay, and here we go. Yeah, there. So mine is sticking out the butt. What a weird thing to say. Yeah. This Pac-Man's pellet is sticking out its butt at about the 41st frame. Yeah, even if it's a little bit. Okay, yours may be a little bit different. Yeah, just adjust for that. Okay. But at the 40th frame, it should be all right. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna go to the 48th frame, hit the S key. And then on the 41st frame, yeah, when it starts to stick out a little bit, I'm also going to hit the S key. But this time, I'm going to, instead of doing a translate and then hitting the S key again, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to tell the visibility here, you are going to be turned off. Yeah, so I'm going to type in off over there. immediately what you're going to notice is your pellet disappears, right? Now it is pink over here, so that's kind of letting you know, okay, this is not fully locked yet. Okay, but if you either go to visibility, right click and choose key selected, or if you just hit the S key, that'll lock it in. And then from there then on, okay, we have a pellet, and then all of a sudden it has disappeared. Yeah, so it's no longer visible anymore. Yeah, so this is gonna feel a little bit more natural because this will literally feel like it's being consumed, as opposed to this one where it's hiding. But it's totally up to you which style you want to use. Yeah, so they both are equally effective as far as the viewer is going to be concerned. Yeah. All right. Okay, so that's our two sections right over there. Okay, now the next one is going to be probably the most tricky. Okay, so because right now, if you notice, it looks like we have one more pellet here, but that is a lie. Okay, we actually have three more that we have to deal with. Yeah, so what we're gonna have to do here is we're gonna have Pac-Man move over, but we're also gonna tell Pac-Man like, okay, you're not gonna be eating sideways. That's super weird and potentially like, yeah, just uncomfortable for people to watch. So what we're gonna have him do here is he's gonna move forward. As he's going to chomp this particular pellet, he's also going to be turning. Yeah, so he'll be doing like a double maneuver right over there. All right, so let's get that going. Pac-Man group. Right now we were at 48. Yeah, so that was a nice spot. Okay, we're still in our front view for now. We're still in our front view for now. We're gonna jump to your 60th frame. Hit the S key. Okay. We're then going to move your Pac-Man over. Okay, and this one's gonna be a little bit tricky. We're gonna get this a little bit more here. Yeah, so we're gonna kind of bring it over. Okay, and we kind of want it almost so that he turns in the center. Yeah, so if you're wondering where your translate X is gonna be, this is a little bit tricky. Yeah, your translate X is gonna be at about 10. Yeah, so again at 60, we hit the S key on here. Okay, and then we're gonna have our moving forward. Yeah, and we'll still kind of see him kind of going whoop, about ready to eat. Yeah, now the other thing we have to make sure is set up is that he can't keep going because there's no more pellets, right? And that's his whole motivation. Plus, he's probably going to fall off the edge. Yeah, so we want to make sure at this point that your Pac-Man group is also turning. Yeah, so we can kind of set that up at the 60th frame with your rotation tool. Yeah, so you can press E to rotate or go to your rotation tool, whichever. Okay, we're gonna rotate it in the rotate Y axis. Okay, and if you can set that one to 90 degrees. Yeah, so we're gonna go to rotate Y, put that at 90. Okay, and then you'll notice that, okay, wow, he's doing some maneuvers here. Yeah, so not only is he chomping on and moving forward, he's also getting ready because he's anticipating that he needs to eat pellets 4 and 5. Yeah, so if you can go ahead and do that. After you do your rotate, you'll see the pink over there that's telling you, okay, good job, but you haven't quite locked it in. Hit the S key to lock it in over there. All right, okay, so pretty good. Okay, we can kind of play this through. Let's see how this looks. Okay, so we should have some action going. Boom, boom. Oh, okay, so yeah, kind of turns. Yeah, that's good, and he turns. Yeah, so that was kind of cool. Yeah, kind of cool. Let's see. Okay, yeah, kind of turning right there. Not bad. Yeah, not bad. Okay. So our next thing is we're going to make sure that your Pac-Man is going to be moving in this direction now. Yeah, so now we want it kind of turning that way. Okay, so once again, now we're gonna switch. Yeah, so we were in our front view. Now we're gonna be in our side view instead. Yeah, over here, Pac-Man group once again. Okay, our spacing is still the same. Yeah, so we should have like 4 units in between. So 60 to 72. Okay, fully mouth fully closed. Okay, let's move it, but this time we're moving it in the minus Z direction. Yeah, so move it in the minus Z direction. Okay, you'll see something super familiar once again. Yeah, even though we had a nice little turn, right, as it was about to eat. Yeah, now we move forward, and then we still have the issue of our pellet. Yeah. So once again, find out when the pellet is sticking out the back, jump back one frame, find pellet number 3. Okay, I'm gonna lock it in at 65. That's where it's still in the Pac-Man body. At 66, it is coming out obscenely. Then I'm gonna hit the S key over here. I'm also gonna go to my visibility, switch that to off. Okay, right click, key selected, or you can hit the S key, either way. Okay, but then we have our chomp, yeah. Okay, up. All right. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and continue with that. As far as the rest of this goes, like, it's pretty self-explanatory at this point. Okay, so we're gonna run through, and the rest of this animation should be pretty quick for you. Yeah, so 84, S key for your group, move it over. There's that keyframe. Okay, then we get to our 96. Yeah, halfway. Okay, keyframe that. Okay, and then we find our pellet 4. Okay, let's do our assessment, right? So when does the pellet stick out? And I have like it barely sticking out over there. Okay, so yours may be a little bit cleaner than mine, but looks like I don't want it sticking out at all. So it looks like at 88, I'll just put that. And at 89, S key for both. Visibility, switch that to off. And then hit the S key once again. Okay, there goes that pellet. Okay, and then Pac-Man group. I can then go to 95. Okay, and then let's take a look. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Okay, and then once again 96. Okay, and then I'm gonna go to 108. Almost there. So that's gonna get dropped off over here. Okay, and then 120. Okay, and then if you can check your count, yeah, so that'd be 1 and then 2, so we'll be right about here. Yeah, so that's about to keep the same pace. One thing about this animation, it's not like super precise, so it almost looks like he's like kind of changing speeds a little bit. Yeah, but yeah, it's good practice anyway. Okay, I'm gonna get this pellet. So again, we're on pellet 5. Okay, once again observing. Okay, for the last time. Okay, 113 looks like it's sticking out. So at 112, pellet 5, I'm gonna hit the S key. And then at 113, hit the S key again, visibility of off. Okay, and then make sure I right click on that visibility field, key selected, or just pressing the S key. Okay, and then now dude has eaten. Yeah, so test it out. See your take a look at your scene. Okay, and then let's try to find a good angle of this. Okay, all right, so let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty cool. Okay, let's see. I like this angle a lot better. Okay, wow. Okay, he has eaten a lot. Okay, actually that's not true. Pac-Man is notorious for eating pellets upon pellets. Yeah. Okay, no cherries or anything in this one though. All right. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. If you notice, I did kind of find an angle that I liked over here. If you can go ahead and find an angle that you also like, we're gonna export this out like in a really simple manner. Yeah, so we'll do a Playblast on this. So try to get a good angle. I'm actually gonna take this plane and scale it up a little bit, just so it's like kind of covering some of this ground. It's not the best, but yeah, maybe some place around here. I'm just trying to cut off the black. Doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, so something like that. Okay. One other thing you may notice is this grid is oppressive. Yeah. So if you don't need the grid, definitely don't have to use it. You can just go up to here, click on this right here. That'll hide your grid. So then you have a much more cleaner looking scene. I'm going to export this out. So I'm just gonna go to my timeline, my time slider. I'm gonna right click on the box next to Playblast on here. As far as like settings go, you do want to make sure that like quality, you can blast it at 100. Your scale, put that at 1. Make sure that is checked, save to file. A lot of the time when we're doing save to file, this is not checked, which is really weird. Yeah, that should probably be the default. Okay, and then go ahead and do a browse, and then you can go ahead and save this file. Yeah, so I'm going to click on the browse right here. Okay, and then let me drop this off. Okay, so I'm gonna call this Pac-Man, and then we'll call this animation. All right, everything's looking good. Okay, so it looks like it's saving to movies. I can work with that. Yeah, so I'll click on save. All right, so I did a browse and then drop that off. Okay, when we do our Playblast, we'll see a nice little run through it over here. And then here's our animation. This might not fit in the screen, but if I play it, there we go. Okay, very dark, very dark. All right, okay, and then so there's our animation. Okay, obviously after you're done, yeah, feel free to add any kind of audio or whatever to it. But yeah, that's basically our tutorial for making a quick Pac-Man animation.